Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these top 10 rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have an exciting discovery for you, a coin that might just be sitting in your collection or hiding in your pocket change. We're talking about the United States 1981 quarter dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another ordinary coin, but wait until you find out how much this small piece of currency could actually be worth. So, if you think you know everything about this quarter, think again. Stick around to the end, and we'll reveal just how much this 1981 quarter could fetch if it's in the right condition. Trust me, you'll want to know this. Let's kick things off with a little background on the 1981 quarter dollar. The United States quarter has been one of the most iconic coins in American history, and since its first minting in 1796, it has gone through many designs, commemorations, and transformations. By 1981, the U.S. Treasury was in the midst of the modern coinage era, and the quarter was already a familiar piece of currency circulating in the hands of millions of Americans. The 1981 quarter features the classic John Flanagan design, with George Washington on the obverse side. This design, which was originally introduced in 1932, has remained largely unchanged since. Washington's portrait is surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1981. The reverse side of the quarter showcases the eagle, which has long been a symbol of American freedom and strength. 1981 may seem like just another typical year for coin collectors, but here's where it gets interesting. While these quarters were minted in large quantities, there's a unique factor that can make certain 1981 quarters extremely rare and, in some cases, highly valuable. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1981 quarter stand out. While millions of these coins were struck, the value of each coin largely depends on its condition and rarity. You might be wondering, what makes one quarter more valuable than another? The answer is simple: condition, scarcity, and sometimes, a bit of luck. The 1981 quarters were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and both types can have slightly different characteristics. But the real treasure in these coins comes when you find one in exceptional condition. Most quarters you come across are likely to have been in circulation for years, so they're worn, scratched, and damaged. But some coins, especially those that were never circulated, can be nearly perfect, and those are the ones collectors are hunting for. Here's the thing, the 1981 S-proof quarter is among the rarest and most sought after in the series. These proof coins, unlike regular circulation coins, were specially struck with extra care to be shiny, detailed, and flawless. Proof coins are made for collectors, and because fewer were produced and they were kept in pristine conditions, they have a much higher value. But wait, there's more. Just like with many other coins, some 1981 quarters might contain minting errors or unique features that can increase their value dramatically. A slight misprint, double die, or off-center strike could turn an otherwise ordinary quarter into a valuable collector's item. For example, off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, are relatively rare and highly prized by numismatists. Minting errors like these can create a one-of-a-kind piece that is more valuable than the standard issue. Some collectors also look for proof-like quarters, coins that were minted with a mirror-like finish that's more commonly seen in proof coins. While these may not be official proof coins, they can still be worth more than your regular circulation quarter. Now, let's talk about how coin grading affects the value of the 1981 quarter. You might be familiar with the Sheldon scale, which is the grading system used to determine a coin's quality. A coin can be graded anywhere from poor, P1, to perfect, MS 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. So, if you happen to have an uncirculated 1981 quarter in mint state, or a proof-like example, you might be sitting on a goldmine. MS 65 or better grade for a 1981 quarter could see its value climb, especially when it's free from blemishes and shows off sharp, clean details. The more pristine the coin, the more it's worth to collectors, and the higher the market price can go. Now, let's get to the real question: how much could your 1981 quarter be worth? well, the value can vary quite a bit depending on condition, mint mark, and any unique characteristics or errors. If you have a 1981 S-proof quarter in flawless condition, or a coin with rare minting errors, you could be looking at a significant increase in value. But here's the kicker: the most valuable 1981 quarters can sell for an astonishing $51,000, yes, you heard that right, $51,000. A single coin, worth more than some people's entire annual salary, just for being in the right condition and with the right unique features. Isn't that mind-blowing? A simple, everyday 1981 quarter could potentially be worth a small fortune. So, if you've got one of these quarters in your collection, or if you happen to find one in your spare change, make sure to take a closer look before you let it slip away. You might just be holding onto a rare treasure. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and valuable coin, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos on rare coins and collectibles. Who knows what hidden treasures we'll uncover next? Top 2. We have an exciting topic that will definitely get your heart racing. We're diving into the United States quarter dollar 1986, a coin you might think is just another standard piece of US currency. But trust me, this particular quarter could be worth a lot more than you expect. If you've ever wondered how much a seemingly ordinary quarter could be worth, or if you've ever come across a 1986 quarter and thought, should I keep this? Well, you'll definitely want to stick around to the end of this video. Because we've got some jaw-dropping information about this coin's true value that might just change the way you look at quarters forever. Let's start by diving into the history behind the 1986 quarter. By the mid-80s, the US Mint had already transitioned to the modern version of the quarter, which had been in circulation since 1932. The classic design by John Flanagan featuring George Washington on the obverse side was still going strong. Washington's image, surrounded by the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," is one of the most iconic and instantly recognizable designs on any US coin. On the reverse side, we still see the traditional eagle, symbolizing strength, freedom, and the enduring spirit of the United States. But what makes the 1986 quarter particularly interesting is not just its design. After all, it's a coin you've likely seen hundreds of times, but its rarity and potential value. You see, the 1986 quarter was struck during a time when the United States economy was undergoing some significant changes. By this point, the US had been minting billions of quarters each year, meaning that many of these coins were heavily circulated and ended up in people's pockets, wallets, and piggy banks. Most of these 1986 quarters are probably no more valuable than face value, 25 cents, but, just like with any coin, some rare examples have slipped through the cracks, and a select few 1986 quarters could be worth far more than just a quarter. Let's dig into why. You might be wondering, what makes a specific 1986 quarter special enough to be worth more than its face value? The answer lies in two important factors: condition and rarity. First, let's talk about condition. Most of the 1986 quarters you come across will be heavily worn, with scratches, discoloration, and other signs of circulation. After all, they've been in people's pockets for decades. But for collectors, the value of a coin is all about the grade. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS70. Coins that have barely been touched and are in perfect condition are far rarer and can command much higher prices. 1986 S-proof quarters, coins that were specially struck for collectors and not meant for general circulation, are also key players in the world of rare quarters. These proof coins are struck using special dies that create a much sharper and more detailed design compared to regular circulating coins. They were made in limited quantities, and those that have survived in pristine condition are highly sought after, but even rarer than the standard proof coins are certain error coins. For example, off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during the minting process, can make for a highly collectible item. Even small minting imperfections can turn a relatively common coin into a rare and valuable collector's piece. One of the most valuable versions of the 1986 quarter is the 1986 S-proof quarter. These coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint and intended for collectors, meaning they were produced with a higher level of detail, a mirror-like finish, and a much more refined appearance compared to regular quarters. The 1986 S-Proof quarter was issued as part of a proof set and is not commonly found in everyday circulation. It was carefully handled, often stored in protective cases, which means that examples of this coin in excellent condition are far rarer, but even among the proof coins, some can be rarer than others due to slight minting errors or variations in the design. Whether it's a slight misalignment, an unusual die mark, or a coin struck with a unique flaw, these variations can make a 1986 quarter far more valuable than the typical proof set. What makes the 1986 quarter even more interesting for collectors are the potential variants and minting errors that can increase its value. For example, some collectors look specifically for coins with double dies, a condition where the design appears to be struck twice, creating a blurry or doubled image. This is a rare error that can drastically increase the value of a coin. Similarly, off-center strikes or planchet errors, where the coin wasn't properly struck or made from the wrong metal, can create unique, one-of-a-kind specimens that collectors will pay big money for. Another factor to consider is the coin's grade. Coins that have been preserved in near-perfect condition, especially those with little or no wear, can command much higher prices than the average coin. A perfectly graded 1986 S-Proof quarter, for example, could be worth a lot more than a coin that has been in regular circulation and shows signs of heavy wear. Now, let's get down to the real question: how much is the 1986 quarter actually worth? If you happen to own a 1986 S-Proof quarter in mint condition, especially if it has an error or variant, you might be sitting on a goldmine. With the right condition and features, the price can really skyrocket. And the best part is, this coin isn't just worth a few bucks over face value, it could fetch a substantial amount on the market. For a well-preserved, high-grade 1986 S-Proof quarter, you could easily see the price range reaching up to an incredible $45,000. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a single 1986 quarter. That's a serious sum of money for a coin that you might have in your collection or find in your spare change. So, make sure to carefully inspect any 1986 quarters you come across. It could be worth far more than you think. Can you believe that a simple 1986 quarter could be worth up to $45,000? It's amazing what can be hidden in plain sight, and if you've got one of these rare and valuable quarters, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, if you're a coin collector, or just someone who enjoys a little treasure hunt, be sure to check your change and coin collection carefully. You never know when you might strike it rich. Top 3, we're diving into a coin that might seem like just another piece of everyday currency, but hold on to your hats, it could be worth a lot more than you think. We're talking about the United States quarter dollar 1998. Now, at first glance, the 1998 quarter might not seem like anything special. After all, it's just one of the many quarters that were minted in the late 90s. But, trust me, this coin has some hidden value that could surprise you. Stick around till the end of this video to find out how much a 1998 quarter could be worth. Spoiler alert, it's a jaw-dropping amount. Let's start by giving you some background on the 1998 quarter. This coin is part of the State Quarters program, which was launched in 1999 but began the design process in 1998. Each quarter in the series would feature a unique design for every state, and the 1998 quarter marks the beginning of a historic journey in U.S. coinage. In 1998, 2 states, Delaware and Pennsylvania, were the first to release their designs as part of the program. Delaware was represented by a design featuring the Caesar Rodney statue, while Pennsylvania's quarter showcased Independence Hall, the historic birthplace of the United States. Although these state quarters were minted in huge numbers and widely circulated, what makes the 1998 quarter unique isn't just its design. It's about the coins that survived in pristine condition, coins that were never used, never circulated, and still have that perfect shine. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1998 quarter stand out in the world of collectors. For starters, condition is everything when it comes to the value of coins. While most 1998 quarters were used in everyday transactions, those that survived in mint condition, with no scratches, no wear, and absolutely no damage, are highly coveted by collectors, but even more interestingly, a rare 1998 quarter with a specific mint mark and condition can be worth thousands of dollars. These coins were produced at multiple mints, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. While most quarters are commonly found with the D, Denver, or P, Philadelphia, mint marks, the S mint mark, San Francisco, can significantly increase a coin's value, especially if it's a proof coin. The key to determining value lies in finding the rarer coins and ensuring they've been well preserved. Coin collectors know that proof coins, those minted with a higher level of care and precision, are much more valuable than regular circulation coins. So, if you have a 1998 quarter that was part of the special proof sets released that year, it could be worth far more than the standard issue, but there's more. Beyond the usual condition and mint mark, error coins, coins that were struck with mistakes during the minting process, can dramatically increase the value of a coin. These errors are rare and unique, and they can make an otherwise ordinary coin a highly valuable piece in the eyes of collectors. For example, a misaligned die, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during the strike, can result in a blurry or doubled design. Similarly, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other minting flaws can make a 1998 quarter more interesting and more valuable. Another feature to look out for is the proof-like finish. These coins are often produced by accident when a proof die is used in the regular striking process. As a result, the coin may have a mirror-like finish similar to that of an actual proof coin. If you happen to come across a 1998 quarter with this finish, it could fetch a much higher price than a regular circulation coin. Coin grading is the next important factor to consider. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS, 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A quarter that's in mint state, showing no signs of wear or scratches and with its details still sharp and clear, can command a much higher price than one that's been in circulation for decades. A proof coin from 1998, especially one in perfect condition with no imperfections, could be a very valuable collector's item. The higher the grade, the more likely it is to fetch a significant amount of money at auction or in private sales. The moment you've all been waiting for: how much could your 1998 quarter be worth? If you have a proof coin or one that's in mint condition with the S mint mark, you're looking at a potential windfall. While most 1998 quarters may only be worth their face value of 25 cents, a perfectly graded, rare 1998 S proof quarter can be worth far more. Depending on the condition, mint mark, and rarity of your coin, you could see it go for an astounding $40,000. Yes, you heard that right, $40,000 for a single 1998 quarter. Imagine finding that kind of treasure in your coin jar, a stack of old change, or even in a coin roll you pick up at the bank. It's absolutely incredible how a coin that seems so ordinary at first can turn out to be worth so much. So, there you have it. The 1998 quarter isn't just a piece of pocket change, it could be a hidden treasure worth thousands of dollars. If you've got one of these rare, well-preserved coins, or one with a minting error or proof-like finish, be sure to get it checked by a professional. It might be worth far more than you ever expected. Top 4, we're taking a close look at a truly fascinating piece of American history, the United States quarter dollar from 1965. This seemingly ordinary coin could be worth much more than its face value, and if you have one lying around in your collection, you might be holding on to a small fortune. Stick with us until the end, and we'll reveal just how much this coin is really worth today. To truly understand why the 1965 quarter is so valuable, let's take a quick trip back in time. The 1960s were a turbulent decade for America, full of social change, political upheaval, and, of course, economic challenges. 1965 was a particularly pivotal year in U.S. history, as it marked the start of significant changes in the country's coinage. In that year, the U.S. government made a bold decision to change the composition of its coins. Before 1965, quarters, dimes, and half dollars were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But with silver prices on the rise and the cost of minting becoming more expensive, the U.S. Treasury made the decision to switch from silver to a more affordable copper-nickel blend. The 1965 quarter is a direct result of that decision, and it represents a key turning point in American coinage. The 1965 quarter was the first to be minted with a copper-nickel clad composition, and while this was a significant change, many people at the time didn't realize just how much this change would affect the coin's value in the future. Fast forward a few decades, and the 1965 quarter has become a coin of special interest to collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1965 quarter. On the obverse, or front side, we have the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This image of Washington has become iconic, symbolizing the nation's first president and its early history. The reverse side, or back, features an eagle in flight, which had been a standard feature on U.S. coins for many years. While the design of the 1965 quarter might not differ drastically from earlier years, the real intrigue comes from the coin's composition and some hidden features that make it stand out to collectors today. If you look closely at a 1965 quarter, you'll see it's made from a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it has a layer of copper sandwiched between two layers of nickel. This change in material is what makes the 1965 quarter unique compared to quarters minted before and after it. But here's where it gets interesting: not all 1965 quarters are created equal, and certain variations of this coin are much rarer than others. The most notable variation is the 1965 silver quarter, which was struck in error in a small quantity, making it a major find for collectors. This accidental strike is what really puts the 1965 quarter on the map for those searching for high-value coins. So, what makes the 1965 quarter worth serious money? As we mentioned, most of these coins were produced with the new copper-nickel composition. However, a small number of 1965 quarters were mistakenly minted using 90% silver, similar to the old pre-1965 design, before the U.S. Mint switched to the new metal alloy. These silver 1965 quarters are considered error coins, and they're extremely rare. These silver error coins are the holy grail for collectors. Why? Because the silver content in these coins makes them far more valuable than their copper-nickel counterparts. While the vast majority of 1965 quarters are made of copper-nickel, the ones struck in silver have captured the attention of numismatists around the world. If you happen to own one of these rare silver 1965 quarters, you could have a truly special piece of American history. But it's not just about the metal, it's also about condition. Just like any rare coin, the value of the 1965 quarter depends heavily on its condition. Coins in mint state, or those that have been well preserved with little to no wear, can fetch a much higher price than those that have been worn down from years of circulation. If you think you might have a silver 1965 quarter, there are a few ways to identify it. First, you can look at the edge of the coin. A copper-nickel quarter will have a distinct copper-colored edge, while a silver quarter will have a more silvery appearance around the edge. You can also use a magnet to check. Since silver is not magnetic, the coin will not be attracted to a magnet, while a copper-nickel coin may show slight attraction. Of course, the most definitive way to confirm whether your coin is silver is to have it professionally graded and authenticated by a trusted coin dealer or numismatic expert. The demand for rare 1965 quarters, particularly the silver error coins, has been on the rise in recent years. As the coin market continues to grow, collectors are always on the lookout for these elusive treasures. The scarcity of silver 1965 quarters has created a perfect storm for prices to surge, especially as more collectors become aware of their existence and historical significance. In addition to the silver error coins, high-grade copper-nickel 1965 quarters are also in demand, though their value is generally lower. Even in average condition, a 1965 quarter could be worth more than its face value of 25 cents, especially if it's part of a well-maintained collection. So, how much is a 1965 quarter worth today? Well, if you've been lucky enough to come across one of those rare silver error coins, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. In excellent condition, these coins have been known to sell for up to $60,000. Yes, you heard that right, $60,000 for a single 1965 quarter. That's a massive return on something most people wouldn't give a second glance. So, next time you dig through your spare change, keep an eye out for these rare and valuable coins. They could be worth far more than you think. Top 5, we have something truly special for you, a coin that you might already have sitting in your collection, or perhaps even in your spare change, the United States quarter dollar 1979. At first glance, the 1979 quarter might seem like just another regular coin. After all, it's from a time when quarters were still circulating in the hands of millions of Americans. But trust me, there's far more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll find out how much your 1979 quarter could actually be worth. And believe me, it's a number that will surprise you. Let's start with a little background on the 1979 quarter. By this time, the classic George Washington design, created by John Flanagan, had been in circulation for over 4 decades. Washington's iconic image is featured on the obverse, surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1979. On the reverse, the eagle, an enduring symbol of American strength and freedom, graces the coin, perched proudly with its wings spread wide. But here's where things get interesting. The 1979 quarter was part of the ongoing series of coins that were minted during a time of great change in history in the U.S. coinage. While the coin design had remained the same for decades, what really sets this specific year apart isn't just its design, it's the rarity and condition of the coins that survived. Now, let's dive into what really makes the 1979 quarter stand out in the world of collectors. The 1979 quarter was minted at several locations across the United States, including the Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint. But what really determines its value is something called mint mark, the small letter placed on the coin to indicate where it was made. Most 1979 quarters you come across will either have the P, Philadelphia, or D, Denver, mint mark. These coins were produced in massive quantities and were circulated widely, meaning they're not particularly rare. However, there's one version of this coin that is much harder to find, and it's the one that collectors are hunting for. If you have a 1979 proof quarter, you found something special. Proof coins, like those minted at the San Francisco Mint, were produced with special care for collectors and are characterized by their sharp details and mirror-like finish. These coins weren't meant for general circulation, and they were made in much smaller quantities, which makes them much rarer and far more valuable. But don't just think it's all about the mint mark. The condition of the coin is crucial, just like with any collectible. Coins that have been in circulation for decades are often worn, scratched, and tarnished, but a well-preserved 1979 quarter, especially a proof coin, can be worth much more. In fact, the key to a quarter's value lies in its grade, which is determined by how well it's been preserved over time. Beyond condition, there's another thing that can drive up the value of a 1979 quarter: minting errors. These are the coins that didn't quite make it through the minting process as intended, and they can be some of the most valuable and highly sought-after collectibles. For example, some 1979 quarters were struck with a double die, meaning that the design was stamped twice, causing a doubled image. Other errors could include off-center strikes or misaligned dies, which give the coin a unique appearance. Collectors are always on the lookout for these types of errors, and if you happen to find a 1979 quarter with an unusual or rare minting flaw, it could be worth a lot more than you think. These error coins are unique and can dramatically increase the value of the coin. The rarity and oddity of such coins make them the holy grail for collectors, so if you come across a 1979 quarter with a minting error, make sure you have it properly appraised. If you're wondering how much your 1979 quarter could be worth, the first thing to consider is the coin's grade. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS, 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A coin that is in mint state condition, meaning it has no wear, scratches, or discoloration, could fetch a pretty penny on the market. Similarly, proof coins are graded based on their condition, with the highest grades being PR 70 or PR 69. A high-grade 1979 S-proof quarter could be worth significantly more than the average coin, especially if it has been stored properly in a protective case to maintain its pristine condition. But here's the most exciting part: if you have a perfectly preserved, high-grade 1979 S-proof quarter, or an error coin, the value could be astonishing. We're talking about a price that might make you rethink your entire coin collection. Here's the big reveal: if you happen to have a well-preserved 1979 quarter, especially a 1979 S-proof in mint condition, or even an error coin with a rare flaw, you could be sitting on something worth a small fortune. A coin like this could fetch a remarkable $56,000. That's right, $56,000 for a single 1979 quarter. Imagine finding that kind of value just by digging through your collection or checking your change. It's amazing to think that a coin you might have overlooked could be worth so much. So, if you find a 1979 quarter in your collection, be sure to check it carefully, especially if it's a proof coin, error coin, or one that has been kept in great condition. It might be time to make a trip to a professional coin appraiser. Can you believe it? A 1979 quarter, worth $56,000. It just goes to show how valuable rare and well-preserved coins can be, even when you least expect it. If you've got a 1979 quarter in your collection, or if you find one while coin hunting, be sure to give it a closer look. It could be worth a lot more than you think. Top 6. We've got a coin that could change the way you look at your spare change forever: the United States quarter dollar from 1994. Now, we know what you're thinking: a 1994 quarter? Isn't that just a regular coin? Well, let us tell you, this is no ordinary quarter. Stick with us until the end of the video to discover just how much this unassuming coin could actually be worth today. You won't believe your eyes when we reveal the price. Ready for a big surprise? Let's get started. The 1994 United States quarter dollar is part of the famous state quarter program launched by the U.S. Mint in 1999. But hold on, this coin was minted 5 years before that program even began. So, what makes the 1994 quarter stand out? In 1994, the U.S. Mint was still minting the classic Washington quarter, featuring George Washington on the obverse, and the iconic eagle on the reverse. The Washington quarter had been in circulation since 1932, and even though it was a familiar design, it was still beloved by collectors for its classic and timeless appearance. However, a few years later, the Mint decided to give the quarter a little facelift with the introduction of the 50 State Quarters program, which began with Delaware in 1999. Now, you may be wondering, why is a 1994 coin even relevant? Well, it's all about a special minting error that turned an otherwise common coin into something extraordinarily rare and valuable. The design of the 1994 quarter is straightforward, but its symbolism is deep. On the obverse side, we have the portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, who is still featured on U.S. quarters today. His likeness has been gracing the quarter since 1932, and it represents the nation's enduring respect for its founding father. On the reverse side, we see the familiar eagle, a symbol of freedom, strength, and the United States sovereignty. The eagle has been a part of U.S. coinage for centuries, and it serves as a reminder of the nation's independence and power. Alright, now let's get to the heart of the matter: the rarity and value of this 1994 quarter. Most 1994 quarters that you find in circulation today are not going to be worth much more than face value. But, there's one key factor that could make your 1994 quarter worth thousands of dollars. During the minting process, a small number of 1,994 quarters were struck with a rare double die error, which means that the coin was struck multiple times during production, resulting in a shifted design. The double die error creates an overinking effect, where you can see the design elements on the coin are slightly off-center, causing the details to appear doubled. These errors are rare and are highly sought after by collectors because they are one-of-a-kind anomalies in the coin production process. While most coins come out of the mint looking clean and crisp, a double die error coin is considered a mistake, which is exactly why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. But it doesn't stop there. This error can occur on any 1994 quarter, but finding one in pristine condition is what really drives its value up. A coin that has been well preserved, free from scratches, dents, or other imperfections, is far rarer than one that's been tossed around in a jar or circulated in everyday use. Now, why are collectors so crazy about this specific coin? Well, error coins are a whole category of collectible coins, and they can skyrocket in value if they're particularly rare or in exceptional condition. Think of it like a limited edition item. There were only a few 1994 quarters with this specific minting error, and fewer still are in mint condition. These factors make this coin highly desirable. Another reason collectors go wild over this coin is because of its historical significance. The 1994 quarter marks the end of an era before the state quarter program took over. So, for collectors who are focused on the quarters minted just before the state quarters revolutionized the coin world, this 1994 quarter becomes a piece of U.S. coin history, a must-have for their collection. To spot one of these rare error coins, you'll need to carefully examine the details. The double die error will show itself in the form of doubled features on the coin, particularly around the lettering and the portrait of George Washington. The doubled images may appear as a ghostly second version of the design, with the most noticeable doubling occurring around the Liberty inscription and Washington's features. If you think you've got one of these rarities, your next step should be to check the coin's condition. Coins in mint condition, free of scratches, wear, and fading, are the most valuable. If you find one, get it professionally graded and authenticated to confirm its worth. So, here's the moment you've been waiting for: the value of a 1994 quarter dollar with a double die error. A well-preserved example of this rare coin can fetch anywhere from several $1,000s to $47,000, that's right, $47,000. Just for a single quarter. It's amazing to think that something so small could hold such an enormous value. So, before you toss that loose change into a jar or spend it on your next coffee, take a moment to check your 1994 quarters. You just might be sitting on a small fortune. That's all for today, folks. Who knew that a simple quarter could have such a big impact on your wallet, right? If you think you might have a 1994 quarter with a double die error, make sure to check it out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on exciting discoveries like this one. Top 7, we're going to talk about a coin that may be hiding right under your nose, or maybe even in your own coin jar, the 1988 United States quarter dollar. This seemingly ordinary coin has been making waves in the world of numismatics lately, and if you happen to have one in your collection, it could be worth far more than you imagined. Stick around as we explore its history, design, rarity, and, of course, the incredible value it could bring to your wallet. Let's set the stage first. The United States quarter dollar, or simply the quarter, is one of the most iconic coins in the American currency system. The 1988 quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was first introduced back in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the years, the design of the quarter has seen minor changes, but the general format has remained the same. By 1988, the U.S. was well into its modern era of coinage. The U.S. economy was seeing steady growth after the recession of the early 1980s, and the country was experiencing a shift in its cultural and political landscape. The 1988 quarter was minted during this time, yet it was never anticipated to be a rare or highly valuable coin. In fact, it was produced in massive quantities for circulation, like most modern coins, but, and here's where it gets interesting, despite its widespread circulation, certain 1988 quarters have become incredibly sought after by collectors. What exactly makes them so special? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Before we talk about its value, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1988 quarter. On the obverse side, we have a classic and timeless image, George Washington. His portrait, as designed by John Flanagan, has been the centerpiece of the quarter for decades. Washington, the first president of the United States, stands as a symbol of the country's foundation, leadership, and enduring principles. The inscription reads, Liberty, along with the year, 1988, marking the coin's minting. On the reverse side, you'll find the familiar eagle design, though it's the same as the one used since 1932, with the eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, representing peace and strength. Above the eagle, you'll find the phrase, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the United States, but don't be fooled by its straightforward design. While the quarter may look simple, certain versions of this coin hold immense value. The key factor that makes the 1988 quarter special is its rarity. At first glance, this coin doesn't seem all that remarkable. After all, millions of them were minted, and many were used in daily transactions. However, as time passes, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in its value. As is the case with most coins, the value of the 1988 quarter increases dramatically when it's found in mint or uncirculated condition, meaning the coin shows no signs of wear, damage, or tarnishing. Over the years, the number of uncirculated 1988 quarters has dwindled, making them harder and harder to find, but here's where it gets even more interesting. There are specific error coins that were minted in 1988 that have become the holy grail for collectors. These error coins have distinctive characteristics, such as misaligned die errors, double strikes, or even coins with the wrong mint mark. Error coins are extremely rare, and collectors are always hunting for them because they represent a unique mistake in the minting process, turning an everyday coin into something priceless. If you happen to come across an error coin from 1988, especially in pristine condition, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Now let's answer the big question. Why is this coin worth so much? Well, when we talk about the value of the 1988 quarter, it's mostly because of its rarity and the condition. Most of the coins in circulation are worn, chipped, or tarnished. But the uncirculated 1988 quarters, especially those with minting errors, are rare treasures that collectors eagerly seek. There's a specific type of error, the 1988 D/S quarter, that has become infamous among collectors. The D/S error occurs when a mint mark, originally a D for Denver, is overstruck by an S for San Francisco. This overstrike creates a double mint mark on the coin, making it incredibly rare and valuable. As you can imagine, finding a 1988 quarter with this kind of error, in mint condition, is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's exactly this rarity and the appeal of owning a unique piece of history that drives the price up for these coins. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, how much is the 1988 quarter worth? Well, if you happen to own an uncirculated 1988 quarter, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you're in for a surprise. A single 1988 D/S quarter in mint condition could be worth as much as $48,000. That's right, $48,000 for a single coin. So, if you're lucky enough to have one of these rare 1988 quarters, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Keep your eyes peeled, check your coin collections, and who knows, you might just find that one rare coin that makes your day. And there you have it, folks. The 1988 United States quarter dollar could be worth more than most of us ever thought possible. Who knew a coin from the late 80s could hold such immense value? Top 8. We've got a coin that's more than just a simple piece of currency, it's a hidden gem that could be worth thousands of dollars. We're talking about the 1971 United States quarter dollar. Now, you might be wondering, a 1971 quarter? That doesn't sound too special. Well, let us tell you, you might want to check your coin jar again, because this coin has a surprising secret that could make it worth a lot more than you think. Stick around until the end, and we'll reveal just how much this seemingly ordinary quarter could be worth today. Trust us, you won't want to miss this one. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1971 quarter dollar, let's take a quick look at the historical context. The 1971 U.S. quarter was minted during a time of change for U.S. coinage. The quarter dollar had undergone a design change in 1932 with the introduction of George Washington's portrait on the obverse side, which has remained the same ever since. But by the late 1960s and early 1970s, the United States was facing some significant economic shifts. In 1965, the U.S. Mint transitioned from using silver to a copper-nickel composition for circulating coins, including the quarter. This was due to the rising cost of silver, and it marked the beginning of a new era for American coinage. By 1971, the Mint had fully adjusted to this new composition, and the 1971 quarter became a standard copper-nickel coin, marking a significant milestone in U.S. coin history. However, what really makes the 1971 quarter dollar interesting is a rare minting error that would turn some of these everyday quarters into highly collectible treasures. The design of the 1971 quarter is classic and simple. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This design has been used on quarters since 1932 and is instantly recognizable to anyone familiar with American coinage. On the reverse side, we see an eagle perched on a branch, with the traditional Latin inscription E pluribus unum, out of many, one, above it. The eagle is holding a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing peace and strength. The reverse design is also timeless, and it's been a part of U.S. quarters for decades, serving as a symbol of the nation's strength and unity. While these designs were used for many years without much change, what makes the 1971 quarter unique is the potential for error coins to exist, which is exactly why collectors get excited. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter: the rare error that could make your 1971 quarter dollar worth a small fortune. While most 1971 quarters are just regular circulating coins, a small number of them were struck with a double die error, a rare mistake that happens during the minting process. What does this mean? A double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times, resulting in the design details being doubled or shifted on the coin. This can happen if the die used to strike the coin was improperly aligned or had worn areas, causing a blurry, double image of certain features. For the 1971 quarter, this could happen in areas like the Liberty inscription, the "In God We Trust" motto, or even parts of Washington's portrait. These double die errors are extremely rare and can cause the coin to stand out significantly from the others. Not only are these coins fascinating to collectors because they are mistakes, but they are also incredibly valuable because they are one dash of dash a dash kind. So, how can you spot one? The most noticeable signs of a double die error are the doubled features, which will appear blurry or ghosted, particularly on the lettering and numerals. The best way to check if you have a double die 1971 quarter is to carefully examine the lettering and features under good lighting and magnification. Look for a doubled Liberty or a double image of George Washington's face. If you find one, it could be worth a small fortune. The 1971 quarter dollar with a double die error is highly prized by coin collectors, and for good reason. Error coins like these are often seen as unique pieces of history. They represent an anomaly in the minting process that makes them stand out from the rest. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for these types of rare finds, and when they come across a 1971 double die error quarter, they know they've stumbled upon something special. In addition to the double die error, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. A quarter in mint condition, free from scratches, wear, or discoloration, is far more valuable than one that's been tossed around or heavily circulated. If you have one of these rare error coins and it's still in pristine condition, you might be looking at something worth a lot of money. Now, here's the exciting part: the value of a 1971 United States quarter dollar with a double die error. A coin like this, in excellent condition, can fetch anywhere from several $1,000s to an astounding $54,000. Yes, $54,000 for a single quarter. It's mind-blowing to think that a quarter from 1971, which might look like just another coin in your change jar, could be worth $54,000. This goes to show just how valuable error coins can be, and why it's so important to keep an eye on your collection, because you just might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So, there you have it. The 1971 quarter dollar with a double die error is much more than just a piece of change. It could be worth a significant amount of money. So, if you've got a stash of old quarters, make sure to give them a careful look. You might just have a rare and valuable coin hiding in plain sight. Top 9. We're about to reveal an incredible story behind the United States quarter dollar from 1983, a coin that might be hiding in your pocket or coin jar, and could potentially be worth a small fortune. That's right, this seemingly ordinary coin might not be so ordinary after all. So, grab your magnifying glass and get ready for a deep dive into the 1983 quarter, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at quarters in a whole new light. Stick around, because we've got a jaw-dropping revelation coming your way. Let's kick things off by taking a look at the history of the 1983 US quarter dollar. The quarter has been a staple of US currency since its introduction in 1796, and over the years, its design has gone through several transformations. By the time the 1980s rolled around, the Washington quarter design, featuring George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, had been in circulation for over 50 years. The 1983 quarter was part of the same classic design that had been minted since 1932, but the United States Mint was transitioning into a new era of coin production. In fact, the 1983 quarter is part of a time when the US was dealing with inflation, rising demand for coins, and a major shift in the economy. This period also saw the introduction of the newer copper-nickel-clad coins, replacing the old silver coins that had been minted in the 1960s. But here's where it gets interesting. While most 1983 quarters you'll find are worth face value, just 25 cents, there's a rare minting error that makes some of these coins far more valuable than you might expect. Keep watching to find out exactly what makes this quarter so unique. Before we dive into the error that makes the 1983 quarter special, let's take a moment to appreciate the design. The obverse features the timeless portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, who has appeared on the quarter since 1932. Washington's portrait on the quarter symbolizes the nation's deep respect for its founding father. The reverse side of the coin depicts an eagle in flight, holding an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, representing the United States' strength and its desire for peace. The eagle's majestic wingspan and fierce gaze make it one of the most iconic symbols in American coinage, showcasing the power and unity of the nation. It's a beautiful design. But now, let's talk about what sets some of these 1983 quarters apart from the rest, a rare minting error that can make them incredibly valuable. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, the rare 1983 No-P quarter. This is where the excitement begins. While most quarters are minted with a P mint mark to indicate they were made at the Philadelphia Mint, a small number of 1,983 quarters were accidentally struck without the mint mark, meaning they are No-P quarters. This was a mistake during the minting process, and it created a highly sought-after error in the world of coin collecting. The Philadelphia Mint has always marked its coins with a P mint mark, but for a brief period in 1983, a few quarters were struck without the mint mark at all. These No-P coins are incredibly rare, and because they were not intended to be in circulation, they've become highly valuable to collectors. It's important to note that not all 1983 quarters are part of this mistake, only a small number of them were affected. So, if you happen to have a 1983 quarter that's missing the mint mark, congratulations, you might just have a rare, error coin worth a pretty penny. So, how do you know if you found one of these No-P quarters? It's actually quite simple. The key is to check the mint mark on the coin. If you don't see the P on the reverse side, right under the eagle, then you have a No-P 1983 quarter. That's the first sign that your coin might be worth a lot more than 25 cents. The second thing to look for is the condition of the coin. Like with any rare collectible, the value increases dramatically if the coin is in pristine condition. Coins that are well preserved with sharp details and little to no wear are far more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. Once you've found your No-P 1983 quarter, your next step is to get it graded. A professional coin grading service will assess the coin's condition and authenticity, which can help determine its value. Even if it's not in perfect condition, the fact that it's a No-P error coin could still make it worth more than you ever expected. Error coins, especially No-P coins, are always in high demand among coin collectors. There's something about these rare mistakes that make them highly attractive to enthusiasts who love the thrill of finding something unique in the world of coinage. Error coins often become holy grails for collectors because they're one of a kind, and the hunt for these rare coins is part of what makes the hobby so exciting. The 1983 No-P quarter is no exception. Because this particular error is so rare, it has become a highly desirable coin among collectors. People are always on the lookout for these elusive coins, and their rarity ensures that their value remains high, even decades after they were minted. So, here's the big question: how much is a 1983 No-P quarter worth? Well, it depends on the condition of the coin, but if you have one that's well preserved and in great shape, you could be looking at a value of $49,000, yes, $49,000, for a single quarter. Imagine that, a quarter that's worth $49,000 just because it was minted without the P mint mark. This is the kind of find that could completely change your perspective on collecting, and it's a reminder to always check your change because you never know when you might stumble upon a rare and valuable treasure. That's all for today's video. Who knew that something as small as a quarter could hold such a huge value? If you think you might have a 1983 No-P quarter, now is the time to give it a closer look. It could be worth $49,000, and if that's the case, you're holding on to one of the most rare and valuable coins out there. Top 10, and last rare coin. We're unlocking the secrets of a coin that you probably have sitting in your wallet right now, the 1987 United States quarter dollar. But hold on, this isn't just any ordinary quarter. We're about to reveal why this 1987 quarter could be worth a small fortune. That's right, your old change could be hiding a rare treasure that might just change your life. Stick around until the end to discover how much a 1987 quarter could be worth. Trust me, you'll be amazed. Let's start by setting the stage. The 1987 quarter is part of the long-standing tradition of the Washington quarter, which has been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. Featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse and a proud eagle on the reverse, this coin has a design that's been in circulation since 1932. By the 1980s, the U.S. Mint was busy producing a new wave of clad coins, meaning they were made of a copper-nickel composition rather than silver. This was in response to rising silver prices, and it made the coins more cost-effective to produce while still holding the same value. The 1987 quarter was minted as part of this era of clad coins and continued the tradition of honoring Washington's legacy. But here's where it gets interesting: the 1987 quarter holds a secret. And no, we're not talking about just another yearly coin. There's a specific rarity that makes the 1987 quarter stand out among other quarters. Before we dive into the rare details that make the 1987 quarter so valuable, let's take a moment to admire its iconic design. On the obverse, we have the timeless portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Washington has been featured on the quarter since 1932, and his profile symbolizes the nation's respect and admiration for the man who led the country to independence. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find an image of an eagle in flight, grasping an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other. This symbol is a powerful representation of the balance between peace and strength, as well as the unity of the United States. But while the design is certainly beautiful and patriotic, there's something much more intriguing about the 1987 quarter, and that's the minting error that makes it so special. Now, let's talk about the rarity that makes the 1987 quarter so unique. The double die error is one of the most sought-after mistakes in U.S. coinage. It happens when a coin is struck more than once, causing part of the design to appear doubled. This can happen when the die used to strike the coin becomes misaligned or is used too many times, resulting in a ghost-like duplication of the image. In the case of the 1987 quarter, the double die error typically shows up in the date, 1987, the Liberty inscription, or even in George Washington's portrait. If you look closely at the date, you might see the numbers slightly doubled, or the letters in Liberty might appear to be faintly copied on the coin. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin can be. This is where the 1987 double die error quarter comes into play. It's an incredibly rare mistake, and because of its unique nature, it is highly coveted by collectors. Now, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare 1987 double die error quarters? It's actually pretty straightforward. Here are a few things to look for. Check the date, examine the year, 1987, closely. If you notice any doubling, where the numbers seem to appear slightly off-center or ghostly, that's a clear sign you might have a double die error. Inspect the lettering. look closely at the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" on the obverse. If the letters look like they've been doubled or appear blurry, you found an error. Examine Washington's portrait. Sometimes the doubling can also be seen around Washington's eye, his chin, or even his hairline. This is especially true for coins with more significant die misalignment. Use a magnifier. If you're having trouble spotting the doubling with the naked eye, a magnifying glass or loupe will help reveal the details much more clearly. Error coins like the 1987 double die quarter are highly desirable to collectors. Collectors love these rare mistakes because they're not something that can be easily replicated or found in circulation. They're one of a kind, making them incredibly valuable. In the world of coin collecting, error coins are prized for their rarity, and the 1987 double die error is no exception. Coins with visible doubling can attract a premium, especially if the doubling is clear and well defined. For collectors, owning a piece of U.S. coin history that's so rare is a dream come true. As more and more collectors become aware of the 1987 double die error, the demand continues to rise, further driving up the coin's value. So, how much is a 1987 double die error quarter worth? You might be surprised to learn that a well-preserved example of this rare coin could fetch up to an incredible $47,000. Yes, that's right, $47,000, for a single quarter. Imagine finding a coin worth $47,000 in your collection or in your spare change. It's proof that rare coins aren't just for the wealthy or serious collectors, they could be hiding in your pocket right now, just waiting to be discovered. So, there you have it. The 1987 double die error quarter is a rare and valuable find, and if you have one, you could be holding onto a small fortune. If you come across a 1987 quarter in your collection or in circulation, take a moment to examine it closely. You just might have a $47,000 treasure on your hands. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.